Hey guys, Anthony Boatner, Keller Williams, Anthony Boatner team. So today's topic is what to do when you are countered on your offer. Alright guys, so today's video is what to do if you get a counter on an offer you made on a property. So just so you know the process, if you find a home, you're working with your agent and you find the home that you want to make an offer on, you're going to submit an offer to the seller. And the seller has a few options. They can either reject your offer, they can accept your offer, or they can counter it. And typically right now, with sellers having very little competition and you as a buyer having a lot of competition with other buyers, we're seeing a lot of counters. So typically what we're seeing on counters is going to be mainly price, of course. So that's one thing to definitely keep in mind, is being aware of the comps, knowing that in this market most homes are selling right away, and what we would recommend is you put your best foot forward on your initial offer. That way the negotiation time is kind of cut down and not giving any time lapse for other buyers that come in behind you. Other things that you need to be aware of that we see a lot on counters is proposed closing date. It's very important, if you're working with an agent, that you let them know any flexibility that you have on a closing date, and that agent is aware of a closing date that the seller is going to prefer. Because what I would hate to see happen is we're working with the buyer and what we get on a counter is the only thing is a closing date, where that could have been taken care of up front and there would have been no need for a counter at all. So make sure that you're aware of the closing date the seller wants and the closing date that you want. And one thing that might help too is put in your offer that you would allow the seller to rent back from you. We're seeing that as something that's helping us get our offers accepted. So in other words, if a seller is buying a home and let's say that they're doing new construction and their new home is not going to be ready for, say, 3 weeks after the closing of when you had your closing date, you should propose to them that you will allow them to rent the house back from you so they don't have to move twice. So that's one thing that can really help your positioning in making it easier for the seller and them considering your offer. Make sure you talk with your lender though, to make sure that your lender that's providing the mortgage would allow that. The other thing that we're seeing helping buyers right now is making sure that you choose an agent that has experience in negotiating offers. When you're starting a relationship with a new agent, a good question to ask them is, how many offers have you negotiated? What are some tips you would give me as a buyer to help negotiate better? And that agent should, at a minimum, be able to give you 2 or 3 ideas that are going to help you get an offer accepted, and that will help you kind of raise your confidence that you're working with the right agent. Alright, so the 2 final things to keep in mind when you are negotiating or getting a counter on a property is if you made an offer on a property and you're countering back and forth, and let's say that there were multiple offers on a home, that let's say at $200,000, and there's 4 buyers, including yourself, that are willing to pay $200,000 for that house, but the seller counters you at $205,000 because they have all this interest and all these buyers. Now, if you feel that the property is worth that, it might be worth considering. But if you feel that there are no comps to support that price of $205,000, be aware of, even if you want the house, your mortgage company might have an appraisal issue and not want to give the loan to you under the terms that you are preparing for with your mortgage broker. So make sure you have that conversation with your agent if you feel like the pricing that you're negotiating at is higher than comps that your agent can show you. And the last point is to make sure that you're communicating with your agent often and he is aware of what you want. That will help your agent keep your interest in mind when they're writing an offer up, they're getting everything prepared. So make sure that whatever is important to you, whether it's a certain closing date, money that you're bringing to close, time frame of when you need to know the offer is accepted, those things, make sure that your agent is aware of things that are very important to you, that are going to help you make decisions, and you want to make sure it goes smoothly. So I hope this video helps. If you have any questions for me, feel free to contact me at any time, and I hope you have a great day.